Welcome to the story of Brazil, a land of vibrant culture, deep history, and incredible diversity. In this journey, we'll explore the rich tapestry of Brazil's past, from its indigenous roots and colonial history to the modern nation it is today. We'll dive into the impacts of slavery, the powerful influence of African culture, and the ongoing struggles against racism. We'll also meet 10 remarkable individuals who have shaped Brazil's history. The story of Brazil, from the beginning to today. Section 1. Introduction to Brazil. Brazil, the largest country in South America and the fifth largest in the world, is a land of contrasts. Covering an area of over 8.5 million square kilometers, it is home to the vast Amazon rainforest, the world's largest tropical rainforest, which alone produces 20% of the world's oxygen. Brazil's landscape is as diverse as its people, ranging from the dense jungles of the Amazon to the sprawling cities like São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. The country is divided into 5 major geographical regions: the North, Northeast, Central West, Southeast, and South. Each region has its own unique characteristics, contributing to Brazil's rich cultural and environmental diversity. The Amazon basin dominates the north, while the Northeast is known for its arid landscapes and vibrant Afro-Brazilian culture. The Central West is home to the Pantanal, the world's largest tropical wetland. The Southeast, the economic powerhouse, includes major cities like São Paulo and Rio. Finally, the South boasts a mix of European influences and temperate climates. Section 2. The indigenous peoples and the arrival of Europeans. Before the arrival of Europeans, Brazil was inhabited by a vast number of indigenous tribes, estimated to be over 2,000 different groups. These tribes, such as the Tupi, Guarani, and Yanomami, lived in harmony with the land, developing rich cultures, languages, and traditions. This harmony was disrupted in 1500 when Portuguese explorer Pedro Álvares Cabral landed on the coast of what is now the state of Bahia. This marked the beginning of Brazil's colonization. The Portuguese quickly saw the potential in Brazil's vast resources, particularly in sugarcane, which would become the colony's first major export. Section 3. Slavery in Brazil and the African influence. As the sugarcane industry grew, so did the demand for labor. The Portuguese turned to the transatlantic slave trade, forcibly bringing over 4 million Africans to Brazil between the 16th and 19th centuries. This made Brazil the largest importer of African slaves in the world, receiving nearly 40% of all slaves brought to the Americas. The conditions on the sugar plantations were brutal. Slaves worked long hours in extreme conditions, facing inhumane treatment. Despite these hardships, enslaved Africans managed to preserve their cultural heritage, contributing immensely to what we now recognize as Brazilian culture. Scene: Carnival in Rio, capoeira, samba music, African religious practices like candomblé. Narrator: Today, the impact of African culture is evident throughout Brazil. The rhythms of samba, the martial art of capoeira, the vibrant celebrations of carnival, and religious practices like candomblé all have roots in African traditions. These cultural elements have become integral to Brazil's national identity, blending with indigenous and European influences to create something uniquely Brazilian. Section 4. The struggle against racism. Scene: Modern-day Brazil, protests, diverse communities. However, the legacy of slavery also left deep scars on Brazilian society. Racism remains a pervasive issue, with Afro-Brazilians often facing discrimination and economic inequality. Despite making up over half of Brazil's population, Afro-Brazilians are underrepresented in positions of power and face significant barriers in education, employment, and healthcare. Scene: Interviews or quotes from Afro-Brazilian activists and scholars. Prominent figures like Machado de Assis, who was the son of a freed slave and became one of Brazil's greatest writers, and Marielle Franco, an Afro-Brazilian politician and activist, have brought attention to these issues. Marielle Franco, in particular, became a symbol of resistance against racism and police violence before her assassination in 2018. Scene: Footage of protests following Marielle Franco's death. Her death sparked widespread protests and a renewed focus on the fight for racial equality in Brazil, highlighting the ongoing struggle that many Afro-Brazilians face. Section 5. 10 major historical figures in Brazil's history. Scene: Portraits and reenactments of key figures. With dramatic music throughout its history, Brazil has been shaped by remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to influence the nation. Let's take a closer look at 10 major historical figures who have left an indelible mark on Brazil. Pedro I of Brazil, the founder and first emperor of Brazil, who declared the country's independence from Portugal in 1822, establishing the Empire of Brazil. Zumbi dos Palmares, a symbol of resistance against slavery, Zumbi led the Quilombo dos Palmares, a community of escaped slaves, and became a hero in the fight for freedom. Tiradentes, a revolutionary who led the Inconfidência Mineira, an early movement for independence from Portuguese rule. His execution made him a martyr and a national hero. Getulio Vargas, Brazil's longest-serving president, Vargas was a dominant figure in Brazilian politics, known for his populist policies and the establishment of labor rights. Juscelino Kubitschek, the visionary president who oversaw the construction of Brasilia, Brazil's modernist capital, and promoted rapid industrialization. Chico Mendes, an environmentalist and union leader who fought to preserve the Amazon rainforest and protect the rights of rubber tappers. He was assassinated in 1988. Pelé, widely regarded as one of the greatest footballers of all time, Pelé brought global attention to Brazil through his incredible skill and 3 World Cup victories. Maria da Penha, a women's rights activist whose fight for justice after surviving domestic violence led to the creation of the Maria da Penha Law, a landmark in the protection of women's rights in Brazil. Oscar Niemeyer, a pioneering architect who designed many of Brazil's most iconic buildings, including much of Brasilia. Niemeyer's work is celebrated worldwide. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, a former union leader who became Brazil's president. Lula's policies lifted millions out of poverty and transformed Brazil into a global economic player. Section 6. Brazil Today and Looking Ahead. A montage of modern Brazil, urban life, technological advancements, cultural celebrations. Today, Brazil is a vibrant democracy with a complex society that continues to evolve. While it faces challenges such as economic inequality, deforestation, and political polarization, Brazil remains a country of immense potential and resilience. The spirit of its people, shaped by centuries of struggle and triumph, continues to drive the nation forward. Scene: footage of young Brazilians, innovative technology, and cultural events. As Brazil moves into the future, it carries with it the legacies of its past, the rich cultures of its indigenous peoples, the enduring influence of African heritage, and the contributions of countless individuals who have shaped the nation. The story of Brazil is far from over, and its next chapters promise to be as dynamic and diverse as the country itself. Closing scene: a final aerial shot of Brazil's landscapes transitioning from day to night. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of Brazil. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from around the world. Until next time, stay curious.